I'm Tori, and today I'm going to be reviewing the book Blackbird House by Alice Hoffman. So this is a beautiful story of a house on the New England coast and the different people who lived in it and what their lives were like. It follows the house from the time it was built until about modern day, whenever this book was written. I was a little skeptical going into this book because it was described as a short story collection, and I don't always love short story collections. They tend to feel a little disjointed to me, and I have a hard time getting reinvested in the book every time a new story begins. But I did not have that problem at all with this book. It didn't even really feel like a short story collection to me. It just felt kind of like a glimpse at humanity. These stories were so beautiful. I listened to the audiobook and there was a different narrator for each story, which made sense because each little snippet followed a different person. But it still felt like there was this whole overarching narrative. The house started to feel like a character, and I started to recognize, oh, there's the pear tree, there is the summer kitchen, there's the pond, and all of these different elements felt like characters, and it was so amazing to see how they all affected different people. I really loved the way the stories were written too. They'd just be a little glimpse at people's lives, and you just see their lives going on for a moment, and you wouldn't quite see the full conclusion. You'd see a snippet of their life. Often it showed something horrible or wonderful that happened, and a lot of the time those two moments happened very close together, and it was kind of showing how life is very hard and very wonderful, and how those two elements kind of work together to make us who we are. And you'd see people going through these life-changing events, and then the story would kind of fade out, and you would get a hint, you'd get a glimpse, you'd sort of see where their lives might be going. But the story would back off before it got too settled, so you're just gazing in the window at these people's lives. And then because houses often stay in the same family for a long period of time, sometimes you would get to see how different people's lives turned out. You'd get to see young people grow up and have children or grandchildren. And it was really interesting because you'd been inside one person's head, and then you'd see the way that one of their descendants looked at them. And it was really interesting to see how the two different people viewed the world differently. This book did feel like it was a lot about families. There were a lot of stories about people trying to hold their families together, or trying to make a family, or sometimes a family would fall apart and people would realize that they could make their own family. And it felt like a very broad cross-section of humanity that we got to see. There were some stories about parents who loved their children desperately and who would do anything for them. And then there were other stories about people who didn't really want to be parents, and maybe they let their children down in some way. And it was just written in such a beautiful, breathtaking way. It also felt like most of the people who were attracted to this house were outcasts. You know, it starts when living on the coast meant you were in a fishing village, and it was just a simple fisherman who built the house. And a lot of people who live in the house are widows or orphans, or just kind of town outcasts, and they are people who are very much different and don't fit in. And it's wonderful to watch them develop this quiet strength and learn to depend on themselves, or to find somebody to lean on and put their faith in another person. And it started to feel like there was almost an element of magic in this story. There is a white blackbird that multiple people see throughout the course of this book, and you never know for sure if they're really seeing it, or if they're connecting with other people, or maybe, it could be very blah and there's just an albino gene that's very strong in this population of blackbirds. But it feels so magical, and you see these people, you see them all seeing this white blackbird, and you see them with their red pear tree, and it just felt so magical and breathtaking. And the overall effect is to make you feel that just life itself is magical, and just watching humanity exist is this gorgeous, heartbreaking, beautiful, joyous thing. This book was phenomenal. I was so invested in the lives of every person I saw, even if it was only just for a moment, and I would definitely recommend this story.